son, unfortunately. Oh, no.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this
Why
will
does he talk like that? Drama.
Impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early
Dude, I have to do a video. I have to do a video satirizing these type of people. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I have to. Like, it's the same shit every time. It feels like I'm watching a true crime channel. They'll put like a picture of someone and then they'll make it go black and white. And then they'll have this dramatic music. All it's missing is like the screen shatter effect and then the what's the term? When the color contrasts? Oh, I can't believe I'm blanking on the term. But you know what I'm talking about, where it like flashes and it switches.
days, he represented
invert the colors.
Quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally, Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I quote look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?" Prompting replies such as, "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better." Yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th
He's looking more feminine.
of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating, "How did Chris go from this to this?" While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this was pretty ridiculous.
I love the puny conservative mind that a gay person can just start talking to you and you're like, oh God, my DNA is changing. I'm becoming gay. Why is Carl even gay? I don't even think Carl is gay.
As Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he removed his wedding ring, with
why did they do this?
Family photo stopped altogether. Fans also
such a bitch, dude. I'm just being a complete bitch. I'm not gonna lie. But it's really funny. One more time, and that's it.
To his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed this.
I like that he needed to circle it for us. Like we're fucking 4 years old.
Perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails.
Do you see it? Do you see? He's not wearing a ring. Circle. Do you see? His nails are painted. Circle, circle, circle. Needs more circles. Didn't understand.
nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according
The way that he said he's been doing HRT like it's a hard drug like heroin or something. He's been doing HRT. He's doubling down on being trans.
According to a quick Google search, is the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and MrBeast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Now, some people might think this is extreme, but I think if you quote that thing, you should just be sent right to jail. I don't know. I think it would improve
Carl
society.
said got you because he made Chris gay.
You know, we should take all the people that are in prison right now for having like a gram or an ounce or whatever of weed on them, and we should take these people and have them replace them. I feel like society would just improve.
Weak man times. Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids."
It's also, I mean, we've talked about it plenty of times, but the idea that kids need a father figure is completely debunked. It's not based on any scientific literature. All the scientific literature just proves that having 2 parents is generally better than having 1 parent. Why? Because you usually have more income and your parents have more time to spend with you. Not to say that there's no such thing as a single parent that's done a good job. That's not what I'm saying at all. Single parents are some of the most hardworking motherfuckers and they do the best that they can for their kids. It's just that generally speaking, if there is a dual income household or a like 2-parent household, you're going to have more time to spend to spend with your kids, and you're going to have more time and more money to spend on your kids. That's it. That's all it says. Nah, 1 father and 1 mother is ideal. Okay, post the study. Post the study then. Should be pretty easy for you, right? Because you wouldn't say something without actually having the facts on hand, right? You wouldn't do something like that, right? Because that would be embarrassing and cringe.
Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker. Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that, I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount
Father, dysphoria.
of backlash. You ripped apart your
the black and white invert. Oh no.
family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe.
This has to be the most deranged thing on the planet, by the way. The people, this is always the thing that just like blows my mind. People who don't know someone personally and then talk like they do. I feel like MrBeast knows Chris better than whoever the fuck you are, brother. I'm sorry. This is very weird and parasocial. It's very weird. The people who are like, well, I know you don't actually think this and you're going to regret this later. It's like, he don't know you, little bro. You don't know him, little bro. Ms. Kiff looking at us.
MrBeast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life." In some ways...
Okay. Another statement that I have. If you are this parasocial, straight to jail. Straight to jail. You know? I think if you're a loser who pays for Twitter Blue with 30 followers, straight to jail. I don't know. Do not collect 200. Do not pass go.
It was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled "Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes," Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind, MrBeast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoe.
Motherfuckers will watch one video about body language and think that they understand the human psyche. They're just doing a bit. That's all that's happening. They're just doing a bit. What? What? Like, literally, I have seen people do bits like this in person. Oh my god.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the video.
This guy, this video, it should be retitled, "Won't Someone Think of the Economy?" Do you guys remember during the stimulus checks? When we got our meager $1,400 or whatever, and the government was like, okay, well, people need to live. They can't work. They need food and they need to pay their rent. Let's just give them a couple pennies. And there were the motherfuckers that were like, how will this impact the economy? How will giving people money to live impact the economy? This is the exact same thing. Chris is transitioning so that they don't have to deal with dysphoria, so that they can be their true self, so that they can finally be happy. But how will this impact MrBeast's brand? Did we think about that? Did we think about that? Like, why? Why? What is this?
MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris—
Guys, the straight white men, they can't relate. Won't someone think of the straight cis white men? They need to be able to relate. Please.
Does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for
Guys, my existence, it doesn't appeal to straight cis white men. What do I do? What do I do, guys? He really said Chris just living is not relatable.
MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So
views
you're
if
a
I got
Keemstar?
it.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos. If
Bruh, imagine taking a TikTok comment that says that the name of the person is "I'm a defective human." Imagine taking this person seriously.
If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be—
You need to resign. Your crime? Being trans.
Unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy.
Oh my god, dude. This is my least favorite thing. This has to be the most annoying thing. Straight cis white dudes who think that minorities don't realize that their very existence is political. I promise you, they know. I promise you. Okay, I promise you that women know that their existence in a space is inherently political. That their gender, that their sex, that their race is inherently political. We know because we have to deal with it all the time. We actually don't need you to tell us, man. We don't. Sure, a 145 million sub channel will die overnight because a 3 million sub channel, I think it will happen. Yeah, it's stupid.
Forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Oh my god. But you want to know what the best part of this is? Do you guys want to know the best part? This new SunnyV2 video feels really invasive for all of the wrong reasons. Like, why did you make this? You delved into the man's marriage and shit. It's really off-putting and unnecessary. MrBeast replied. Yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my fucking friend and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. This is... Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook. Oh my god. This is like... This feels very similar to when men realize how how annoying it is to just walk around as a woman. This is like, I don't think I'll be able to find it. But I'll do my best.